Hey everybody, Joe Venorni, Cherry the Geek TV. We are here at San Diego Comic-Con 2026 with SG Blaise. She is an award-winning author, entrepreneur, founder of Lilac Grove Entertainment, and the author of the Seven Galaxies Chronicles, the last Luminian series. Set the book series up for people that aren't familiar with it. What kind of books are they? Kind of set up the overall story of it.
Joe, the Last Luminian book series is a sci-fi fantasy action adventure. It's Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings meets Princess Bride. It's PG-13, clean language, kissing only. No chili peppers here, okay? Maybe a jalapeno, but that's about it. It follows a 19-year-old rebel princess who must defeat the Dark God before he finds her, the Last Luminian.
I'm curious, how did you come up with the idea for this? What was kind of the inspiration?
The inspiration, Joe, for the book series came to me in a dream when I was on a cross-country road trip and vacation with my family in Austria. And I woke up jet-lagged in the middle of the night, and I had this urgent idea that I had to write down in pitch dark with the only illumination coming from my phone, and that's how the Last Luminian book series was born in Vienna. Austria. Salzburg, to be honest.
What were you kind of inspired by science fiction and fantasy and all that growing up as a kid?
Joe, my inspiration comes from my dad. I grew up during the second half of Soviet oppression in Hungary, and Hollywood movies were largely forbidden. But my dad smuggled them in anyway, not to sell them for profit, but to translate them from English to Hungarian. He used his own voice to dub these movies so we could have secret movie nights every Saturday and Sunday. And that's how I was introduced to Star Wars, sci-fi fantasy, Indiana Jones, The Terminator, all these movies that came decades later.
So I'm curious, when you set out to start writing these, there's multiple books now in the series. When you first began, did you have that in your brain, like this is going to be a multiple book series, or did you just focus on one book at a time? You came up with the one book and it kind of built from there. What was kind of the overall thing as you were developing?
Joe, when I set up to write the Last Luminian book series, I thought it's going to be 3 books. And then I kept writing it, and then I realized maybe there is story for 6 books. At some point I wanted 29 books. Luckily for us, it's only going to be 13 books. Book 7 is already in the workshop. I'm working on it. Bye. And I can't wait for the audience to introduce them to these characters. More characters are coming their way, more twists, more plot that they don't see coming. It's going to be an adventure for all of us.
Now, it's not just books, though. You started with these books, and you're kind of expanding the whole universe. You've got a comic book now. There's a short animated film based on the books that's out now. And you've got a lot of merchandise that's available here to buy here at Comic-Con, pins and bookmarks and things like that. Let's start with the comic. What's it like expanding your story into a whole new medium, like a visual medium?
Joe, expanding the Seven Galaxies Chronicles into the Mythical Hunters comic book series was a dream come true. I always had these characters in my head badgering me. When do they get their time in the spotlight? And it was so fun to embrace a new story format, a new medium, where storytelling is firstly visual, and then secondly on the dialogue. And it was a blast to learn how to tell the story of Siona, a fugitive who is running away from an empire, and specifically Aaron, an assassin who set out to kill her, only to end up as this ragtag team hunting mythical creatures and see if they can work together, or are they going to be a legendary adversaries for the rest of their lives.
And let's talk about the animated short film. Christopher Judge, people would know from Stargate, SG-1, as one of the voices. Talk about expanding it into an animation medium.
Oh my goodness, Joe, doing the Hollow Healer animation and having such amazing talent like Christopher Judge, his son, Junior Chris, and Kahinde, they were doing phenomenal job to bring the origin story of not just the book series, but the Mythical Hunters comic book to life. And this follows, Hollow Healer follows on a healer who is hunting for more power, but his desperate prayers awaken a dark god. And when he sets out for a vengeance, he doesn't realize that he is threatening the balance of the seven galaxies.
Now that you've got the comic and you've got the animated thing, is live action next? Is that kind of the goal? What do we?
Joe, from your lips to God's ear, I would take an animated live action, any series, because we have so many stories in the Seven Galaxies Chronicles to share, so readers and fans can have a deep dive, go down the rabbit hole and enjoy the stories, because my goal is to create rich and vivid world building stories that you get to see yourselves and have an amazing time.
For those that are new, that haven't read your books, what's the best way to point them? Where should they start? And for longtime readers, your fans, what can you tease about maybe the future of the series and maybe over the next year or so?
Joe, for the new readers who are first time coming to the series, I would recommend to start with the books, The Last Luminian. We also have ebook, audiobook, and paperback. If you're a fan of the comics, Mythical Hunters are an easy way to get introduced to the Seven Galaxies Chronicles. And for those who have been with us for many years, and gosh, this has been at least 6 years now since I published the first books, we have a big announcement at the Saturday panel, which I wish I could tease you more than that. It's very exciting, brand new IP. A lot of readers gonna recognize the hero. That's all I can say. And working on many more irons, that, crossing fingers, next year I get to announce it on your TV podcast show.
Awesome. I'm curious, for those that are writers, that are starting out as writers, you've got this chronicle, the Seven Galaxy Chronicles that you started with the one book, and you've expanded into this franchise. For those that are just starting out and they want to create their own franchise, and they're staring at a blank piece of white paper and they're just feeling the weight of everything upon them, what would you say is the architectural cornerstone? What's the first piece that they should focus on in building their own universe?
Joe, that is such an amazing and complex question. There are so many ways to approach this, so I'm gonna go with what my gut tells me, and that is to start with being kind to yourself. You have to understand that you're embarking on a journey where you're flying a plane while you're building it. So there's going to be a lot of unknowns, there's going to be a lot of challenges to overcome, and you're going to see others who seem farther ahead doing better, so there is the trap of comparison. And I would like you to never compare. Never look at what others do unless you can take some tips and tools from them to use it to make your journey better. And to how to conquer the fear of the blank page, for me, writing prompts. I got a book, I gave it to my husband during COVID, and he randomly picked just a sentence and set a timer for 15 minutes. And 2 of those writing prompts gave me book 4 beginning and book 4 ending. And that teaches you to allow to freely create without judgment, without editing what you write, because creativity cannot flourish in negativity.
Awesome. If people want to find out more about the books, is there a website, social media? How can they find out more?
Joe, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, SG Blaise Official, SG Blaise Author, I'm on X, I have a YouTube page, I have my very own website, sgblaise.com, I have a newsletter, you always get first exclusive look for everything. I have an animation Hollow Healer on YouTube, and we're trying to keep everyone posted because a lot of good things coming your way.
Awesome. Check out those books. This is SG Blaise, and check out Cherry the Geek TV for more coverage here at San Diego Comic-Con 2026.